well, I believe you already learned something about environment variables during scripting, because it's difficult to do scripting without them. But they are used to store data that is used by the operating system and by other programs. Some are intrinsic to the operating system, some are for a specific program, library, programming language, or whatever, and some are created by the user, for instance, in scripts. And the variable can be used both in scripts and on the command line. And you usually reference them by putting a special symbol in front of or around the variable name. And by convention, they are uppercase. Some examples are this one that you have seen earlier in the course, $home, that references your home directory. And you could say echo $home, and it will then tell you what $home, the environment variable, points to. Then pwd, it points to the current directory. It gives the same output as running the command pwd. ld_library_path, that's a colon-separated list of directories that the dynamic linker should search for shared objects before searching in any other directories. And that is something you would add to if you maybe were installing some program, or if you're compiling something. In some cases, you want to make sure that it's actually located in the right place. Then there are OMP non-threads, which you may use if you are writing OpenMP programs and running them. You want to set how many threads there are. Or maybe you're setting the Python path to the directory where your Python libraries and packages are installed. So those are all examples of very common environment variables. And as I just showed you, when you want to see the content of an environment variable, you can say echo $, the environment variable's name. And you will get a long list of all the environment variables that are currently set if you do the command env. And you can also say print env. As default, they will give the same output. You'll see env for me gives quite a lot of output. And it, among other things, tells me there's an environment variable for the username. And there are various others. It tells me that the session I have here is xfce. It also tells me what the previous directory was for pwd, and there will be one for the current one as well, which is here. And the previous one is saved because there are commands to quickly go to the previous directory you were in. Here was the $home username on languages and things. So you can run this and take a look at it, and you will see that printenv gives the same output as default. There is, however, one thing you can do with printenv, and that is you can also use that to show the value of an individual variable, the same way that you could with echo. So let me say pwd, and then I get this here, and that will give me the same as if I ran echo on the pwd variable. The difference, as you can see, is that here you reference the environment variable with the $sign in front, whereas printenv simply prints the content of pwd. You can use env, on the other hand, to modify the environment that the program is run. And that's something you may use if, for instance, you are compiling something with CMake. And that is, or in general, when you're installing something and you want to tell the program that the variable it should use or the path it should use is this one for this instance. Some variables need to be exported before you can use them. And that's generally the case for things like Python path. And if you want to export a variable, you do it with export. The name of the variable equals whatever you set it to. And this is how it looks in Bash, and that is what we look at here. I will just briefly say if you were instead using C shell and similar, it looks like this instead. So when you are Googling it, make sure that you are actually getting the result for the type of shell of Bash that you are interested in, because it will look differently otherwise. And it will not work if you're using the one for the other type of shell. You can create your own variables to use in scripts, for instance. Say that I want to create a variable called my, and this is just an example. So I will export my, and I will set it to have the value of the path to GCC. And I could then look what is pointing to. It's pointing to GCC. And I don't, yes, I have the hello C here, good. Because then I want to show you that you can actually use now that to compile it. And it should give a.out, and it did. So I can run it. It had been compiled just like it would have with GCC. So that is an example that shows that this environment variable actually does point to the path you had set it to. It points to this binary here, the executable. And it is the same as using that. And you can try the same. And it is not persistent. If you log out and log in again, everything is as it was before. In order to make it persistent, then you will have to put it to Bash and C. We will talk about that in a little more. Under quality of life, I believe it is. So if you want to see the content of path, you will do echo $path. And path is something that is usually set to the places that the operating system should look for binaries and things to execute. So let's try and see what it's set to on my computer. And it is set by default to look in these places here, and I could add something to it, because if I, for instance, installed a program in /opt, I could tell it that the path should now also look in that one, and I would do that with export path equals the path as this was, colon, the new path, if it was /opt, my program, or something, wherever it was, whatever I wanted to add to it. And after doing that, and I'm echoing it here, path again, and you can see it is now told I should also look at that directory. And that is what I did here. Which means also there is a formatting error. And if you're adding something to LD library path, you do it the exact same way as I just did to add something to the path. And again, as I said earlier, it's not persistent. It disappears as soon as you have logged out and logged in again. To get it persistent, you need it in your bash RC, the config file that is, or whatever you should call it, that is run when you log in. And if you want to quickly do it, you can use a command like this, where you take the line that you want. So this is, for instance, the line I just made here, export. And I echo that and append to the file -rc. And that means that after doing that, that line would now be in the -rc. And I could do this simply to show you what happens here. And I will just do this. And then I will, with nano, open a file and go to the bottom, and you will see it has indeed added it. Now, I don't want it there because, well, it's just a random path that I don't really do anything with. So I just remove it, but this is how you will add it. So now my -rc is safe again. Okay, let's try a few small short exercises. Try again, run enum to see what environment variables are on your own computer. Try echo to see the content of a few of them. Create your own variable, set it to something, echo it to see that it has the right value, print L on an environment variable. So try those out.